it must be university professor there, it must be tutor there, it must be coach there. They teach, but they teach differently and they teach different groups. The tutor is, let's say, hired by a family to teach the child in the room, face to face. The coach is teaching how to play a sport game. So there's difference, there's a common phenomenon, a feature also, but the last one must be a trainer. So we are trainers. What does the trainer do? Let me put it in English. Can you still understand this? See, the trainer trains people for a particular job. We're not university professors, we're not teaching the broad concept of what is law, because you know what is law. You graduate one or two university, you have professional background, experience, you go to court. So the duty of the trainer is not to teach the substance, but to teach how to apply the law, to teach skills, but not the knowledge. Let's make that difference. So we are trainers, someone who trains people for a particular job. And that's what you do. Those who have done training, what kind of training you did? I mean, what subject? Yeah, some people said that.
Intercultural dialogue.
Yeah.
Intercultural dialogue.
Dialogue?
Yes.
I did on freedom of religion.
Uh-huh. When you were doing freedom of religion, you had some substantive matters, but then you're teaching how to apply that concept in some specific area, or just a broad sense of...
My presentation was focused on adjudicating cases in freedom of religion and the national procedures related to freedom of religion.
So it's adjudicating. It's a procedure. So you're teaching them the skills of how to manage that issue, but not the freedom of religion itself, because the audience, they should know that, the concept. That's the difference between the trainer and tutor, lecturer, professor, instructor. We can be all of this, but the group is different. But the trainer does teaching a particular job. So we train lawyers, investigators, I mean, all this group, and I put etc. Could be more. But one common feature is that they're all adults. They're not kids. So I'm coming up to adult learning method. And that's why there are two types of sciences, pedagogy and andragogy. Let me see if this is in Romanian available. Let me go to Romanian. No. Oh. Can I read this? Make it bigger. Can you read it? So it says, the adult doesn't want a knowledge concept, he wants skill. He needs not the what, but how. We can put it in this way. What is the substantive matter? How is the skill? When I have courses with judges about European Convention, I'm not teaching them what is fair trial. Of course they know what is fair trial. But I teach them how the European Court implements the rule of evidence, let's say in fair trial proceedings, in criminal proceedings, or what is the rule of confrontation and how the European Convention applies the confrontation rule. Giving them updated information, but not the substance itself. And so I put it in this way, knowledge and skills, difference between knowledge and skills. Pedagogy is the science of educating children and young people, and andragogy is the science of teaching adults and professionals. That makes difference in methodology. Because For the kids, you just have to instruct the child, do not do that. Let's say the child wants to touch the power plug. What the mom does, the mom is not going to explain what is the electric power, that it consists of small particles, very fast, huge flow that can kill you, your organism, because the child is not going to understand anyway. So the mom simply says, do not do that. It's an instruction. But you cannot instruct the adults. You just have to give them something to touch, to experience, to exploit. That's how the adults learn. They do experimentation. And this is the difference between knowledge and skills, how they learn. You see, you get knowledge, let's say university students. 10% doing, it means they have case studies, or they may have hypothetical issues, moot courts, only 10% dedicated time, 15% hearing, but 75% seeing, lecturing, like this. PowerPoint presentation, flip chart, and then lecturing, which is usually boring. After 15-20 minutes, your brain stops admitting that. And how the adults do, skills. You get skills by hearing 10%. I'm going to finish very soon, 5 minutes, no longer. 25% seeing, and 65% doing. That's what we did with Doina these last 2 days and with the previous session. We put together the lecturers, meaning seeing and hearing, with 65% or 70%. We agreed in the beginning. We're going to have 30% with 70% proportionality. 30% lecturing, 70% experience. Playing games, hypothetical issues, case studies. We also plan a moot court. Are we going to do moot court? In the last session. Because you're adults, we cannot lecture you all the time. You're not going to hear it. It's not going to be interesting. You don't need knowledge, you need skills. But some knowledge, of course, if we're talking about a new concept like non-discrimination, is needed. That's why we agreed 30% knowledge, meaning lecture, and 70% practical exercises, meaning skills. And the same, but with our exercises. See, 10% doing case studies, hypothetical issues, MCQs, role play, moot courts, or here, this part. This is what we are doing with these trainings. If you notice, if you take our agenda for today, for the last days, and for the previous session, you'll see 70% of time we spent on case studies, MCQ, role play. We haven't done moot court yet, but we're going to do it, including group work, right? And we did lecturing only 10% and some PowerPoint presentation. That's what we did.